Hello, welcome back to another video and the very first episode of Hot or Not. So this is a new series that I'm going to be running where I read brand spanking new releases, one a month, and then I come back and I tell you if they are hot or, alas, not, and not worth your time. And today I am reviewing one that, to be fair, a fair few people have now reviewed, and it is Britney Spears' new memoir, The Woman in Me. So a lot of people have been talking about this book. It's getting a lot of hype, and I thought I would add my 2 cents to the conversation. Now, I haven't watched anyone else's reviews because I don't want it to taint my opinion, but from the thumbnails and the titles, I think it is actually being received pretty well. I may be offering a converse opinion. So memoirs are not generally something I am drawn to, particularly celebrity memoirs, not overly my jam. So I would like to preface this whole video with that I am not a big memoir reader. However, I was interested in this book because Britney Spears has quite a nostalgic feel for me. I grew up in the 90s when Britney Spears first came onto the scene. I was in like year 6, and so all of her music really did have an impact on me in my teenage years, and obviously I saw bits and bobs in headlines about what was going on with her over the years, and so I was interested to see what she had to say about all that, because there was a lot of stuff going on for her, particularly sort of between 2000 and like 2015. So yeah, that was sort of my motivation for picking up the book. I wasn't picking up the book with a negative frame of mind. So there were some bits of this book that I really enjoyed. I do think she was pretty honest. I think she was really trying to put her honest opinion across, and that's how I read it. There were some juicy little tidbits in here. So there were some bits of information there that I don't think have been previously available for sort of public consumption, if you like, before, which I think is good. She's given us new information. She's not just regurgitating things that we already know. I think she really did shine a spotlight on a few important topics, particularly abortion, miscarriage and postnatal depression. I think it is very important for women to speak up about all of those things and their experiences in those areas. I don't like the fact that those subjects are quite often seen as taboo and women have to deal with them on their own, and I think that is a good thing, that more women are going to see that, you know, these things happen and it's okay and you can get through them, and the only way that women are going to feel better in themselves is if more women talk about it. So I commend her for that. However, I had quite a lot of things I did not like about this book. Number one, it very much felt like a memoir by numbers. This was my childhood and it wasn't very nice, and this is how it's affected me. And then this was my bad relationship and that wasn't very nice and that affected me. And I had a broken heart. But if you work hard and persevere, it all works out in the end and you become a stronger person. And it just felt very formulaic in that way, which didn't really set my world on fire. You know, it just felt very basic. I would also preface this by saying that this book was shadow written. She did have a shadow writer for this. And I think that shadow writer probably did quite a good job of conveying what Britney told him to convey. So I don't think it's a fault of the shadow writer per se. I think it was the way that it was dictated almost. And I think that this is a double-edged sword, right? So I think because it was written that way, it's actually super accessible to a lot of people. It's really basic prose, really easy to understand, really sort of to the point. And so I think that will be really, really appealing to a lot of people. I wanted more nuance in it. I wanted I wanted more feeling in it. It kind of just felt like this was a list of things that happened, but and don't get me wrong, there were feelings in it, but it just felt, I don't know, it just felt surface level in some ways. So yeah, just a personal thing. And like I say, I think that's a double-edged sword, because I think that will appeal to probably more people than not. So make what you will of that. The other thing that really annoyed me in here was the name dropping. Oh my goodness. I mean, I don't know if that's because I don't read a lot of celebrity memoirs. I don't know if that's what people like in a celebrity memoir. I certainly didn't. I don't need to hear all of the people that you've ever met in your life. We know that you're famous. We know that. Everybody knows that. You don't have to tell us which famous person you live next to, which famous person you saw in the supermarket, and which famous person you had coffee with. And I was just like, I just don't care. And you know that she's name dropping because she's using first and second names, right? So she could have just been like, oh, when I saw Elton, you know, walking his dog. I don't even, yeah, she did mention Elton John. But just like use a first name. If you know these people use their first names, we don't, you know, you don't even need to say Justin Timberlake. If you say Justin, everybody knows who you're talking about. It just felt like a little bit of a look how popular I am because I know all of these famous people and I'm not there for that. Nope. That really, really ground my gears. And the other thing I really, really disliked in here was and I feel like this might get me some negative comments, but her reaction to her breakup with Justin. Okay, I understand that this woman was deeply in love. I understand that they had lots of things happen in their relationship, and that leaves a scar, of course. The vast majority of humans on this planet have had a relationship, a romance, a love that has gone wrong, and it hurts like hell. I understand, I get it, we've all been there. But she then went home and just stayed in her bedroom for like months, and that annoys me. That annoys me because the majority of people do not have that luxury. Everybody else has to drag their ass out of bed and go to work and suck it up and act like an adult. And I just feel like she did not do that. And well, she definitely didn't do that. And that was because she was famous and rich enough not to have to, right? And it is really annoying. I'm really not there for the woe is me. Oh, my heart is so broken. I can't possibly do anything. Honestly, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and get back to work. Seriously. So, yeah, that wound me up quite a lot, as you can probably tell by my reaction. But, I mean, overall, I think it was fine. It did not set my world on fire. I don't even really think that I have too much more sympathy for her now. She did talk a lot about the conservatorship that her father put her under, which sounded very difficult and very challenging. And it was something that I wasn't aware of. I'd never even heard of it as a thing. So there were some educational pieces in there for me as well. But overall, I did think it was just a bit of her trying to make everyone feel sorry for her and show the world how many people were mean to her. And yeah, I just it just didn't work for me. So on the topic of is this book hot or not, I have to give it a not. I wouldn't recommend it to someone of my reading taste. Prefacing that by saying someone of my reading taste. My stepdaughter rang me up today and was like, Gemma, for Christmas, I really want a book. And I was like, oh, this is so exciting, I get to buy a book. And she's like, I want the new Britney memoir. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And she said, is it good? And I said, I think you will really enjoy it. And I think she will. She is 18. And I think she will really, really enjoy it. But for me, my reading taste, it wasn't wasn't my jam. So yeah. So that brings us to the end of the first episode of Hot or Not. I will be doing another episode in December. I will be putting onto my community tab right now some picks for December, so please go over and vote for which book you'd like me to review in December. And if you would like to read a memoir that I highly recommend, I will leave my spoiler-free review for Kai Miller's Things I Have Withheld here, and I will catch you all very soon with another one. Bye guys.